just spitting out play calls a lot easier, just processing. Being around VJ for a year, understanding the defense that I'm going to get. So it's a lot better. It's a lot more enjoyable not thinking, right now as opposed to what I was doing last year. So it's fun. It's fun to be in the know. It's fun to have a little bit more of an understanding of, what's going on, so I can kind of be a little bit more beneficial to others and kind of help them out along the way. But I feel good. We're in a good spot.
What are some of the things you've maybe done specifically since January to help you take another step?
I think it's just all about each season you get to start over and you get to start from square one. So it's all about getting the body back right and taking some, a mental break from the game. And then now when you pick it back up, you feel a little bit more rejuvenated, more, I guess, fresh is the term. You're not going all season long, and I feel good. I feel like I'm in a good spot. Body feels good, and mentally I'm sharp right now. So I'm going to carry that into the season.
How does that manifest, say, when you're out there kind of reading a defense that BJ can touch?
Well, it helps a lot because I'm not thinking about what the offense is doing, and usually that's the case. When you go up to the line of scrimmage, you want to be, only thinking about the defense, only processing and reacting to the defense, not, maybe the footwork or the motion or the timing or whatever that I'm doing. So that, I feel like, process is eliminated, and now I can focus on a lot more of the defense.
What have you noticed from Harvey?
Well, he's done a really good job working. He does a good job out of the backfield. He, it's hard to tell with shorts and t-shirt, what it's like running the ball with the no pads. But that's obviously why we got him. So he can run the ball, but I think it's the other things that he's showing, just the routes and the suddenness and quickness in hands. I think all that's really good to see. But he's a great guy, great dude, first and foremost. And then I think it's going to translate for him being a successful player. Well, it's a loaded question because each year you start over. Like I said, nobody really knows what anybody has. That's why you go out there and play the season. If we were all what people said we were going to be, we wouldn't play the season. We would just finish with the final standings of what they said we were going to be. So that's why you play the game. That's why you go out there and go through a full season. And, we're going to learn a lot from this time to the season. We're going to learn a lot once we get into the season and go. But, it's got a buddy on the team we talk about all the time is, we tell each other, you're still a nobody. You haven't done anything yet. And so we got a lot to prove. We got a lot to go out there and do. It's people like that keep you in check. It's guys like, teammates that, got your back and continue to motivate you. And because, he's right. I haven't done anything up until this point, and I got a lot to prove, a lot to show. So, every day it's working. Every day it's finding a way to get better because you don't want to get to, year two or go down the road and all of a sudden you got stuck and didn't get any better. So that's my focus right now is just not even worried about what people are saying. Just internally, I know I got a long way to go.
Well, what is it you did? Teams in this time?
Well, honestly, it was fun to do. It was fun to get out the house and go, hang out at the games, and got to take a lot of teammates with me each time I went. So it was just fun time to kind of be relational with those guys and get outside of football, go enjoy another sport, and it's fun to cheer on your city. So all three of those teams are fun to go to games, fun to interact with, and it's just a good city to live in.
What about beyond that, though? Just being in town, like being here, and one of the rocks and camp and
yeah, well, this is where I live. This is what it's the norm. So I'm gonna find a way to not only embrace it and enjoy it, but not take it for granted. I'm in a great spot. Denver's a unbelievable city. It's a great city to live in. A lot of people want to be here, and I'm fortunate to have been picked to play for the city. So we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to embrace the situation, and I just enjoy being here. So that's where I want to spend my off seasons.
Well, when you guys had like a big room, where did the process start for you in terms of watching film? Is it just getting
know him? How did that process happen?
Yeah, well, it starts by getting to know him. See what makes him tick, what makes him go, what his passions are, and it's very clear from the beginning that he's all about football. He's all about taking care of himself, and he's been here since he was signed. Getting ready and preparing, and so that's been fun to see. So I've gotten to be around him a lot, and then we just start working on the field. Early OTAs, you get to come out here and throw routes, and just see what he's like, see what kind of routes he runs, see what he's thinking. We talk a lot. He's always asking me about certain things, and then when you get him out to practice, it's just seeing how he reacts. And so, I'm excited to include him and add him to what we already got, and I think it'll be good for us. But it's huge. It's kind of weird, going back first install. It's not new verbiage and not new things, so it made it a lot easier this year. Now it was tough to learn last year, but just being in a system and just kind of getting right back to where we were, just being able to call plays and understanding what it's like. So going longer than 365 days, just hearing the same thing, I think it's going to be really beneficial. And honestly, it felt weird because it hadn't been since high school. And so, I'm just used to learning different things. And so it's good not to have to learn an entire new system this year, have the same play caller and have the same quarterback coach. So, and honestly, the same guys you're throwing it to, same center, same O-line. I mean, the being the same, it's going to be, it's hard to even explain. It's going to, you're going to see it in ways that you can't even understand. And it's just a natural thing to go out there and, just pick up right where you left off and not have to restart.
We heard from multiple things. Part of the reason we wanted to come in was to see a long-term future. What does that mean? Did you play a role in that? Because you're around, you live here, recruiting guys, talking to guys. You just played out whether it was an offensive.
Well, that's nice of them to say, but I, just let the front office do their thing, and I feel like, Coach Payton and George, they put together a great squad for us this year, and so my job is to, when they get here, just make them a part of the team and help them with the transition. And I feel like all the new guys have, really bought in, and they've been around. They've been, getting to know everybody, and we got really good pickups this offseason. So I'm excited to see them play. It looks different out there right now. Just, a few different key guys in different areas, but, they're fun to watch play football. So that's going to be good for us moving forward. But, I feel like we had a great offseason, and, we're building something that, we look forward to seeing.
Last one.
Well, I don't think it was the weather. It's a little cold out here, but I love cold actually. So I grew up in Oregon, so where it rains, snows, and gets all that thing. So I think my intrigue was definitely just a great organization first and foremost. People that are willing to buy in and to these guys, and they really want to grow. And this defense is incredible. Like you look from top to bottom, it's just players. And so for me, I just wanted to humbly come in, earn the respect, and join a crew that already did really well last year. Sure.
I think frustrating the injuries you missed the season with ACL wrist, and how I assume you're all the way back. Just working your way back.
Yeah, for me, injuries is part of the game. I think Troy Polamalu always tell me it's 100% injury rate, regardless. So for you to go in, you got to understand what comes with it. So every injury that I came along, I think it's just a testament to who I am and to battle through adversity through those moments. And so something that I'm taking in and wear on my sleeve when I go out on the field.
So what are your first impressions of Vance Joseph's scheme? How well fits your skills?
Aggressive. I feel like that's who I am. So got to go out there and play just like he asked us to.
How big a factor was it going from going to another?
Well, I'm bringing Dre, so I felt like that helped. Super excited. Yeah, I think there's guys all across the league that you can play with that are great. But for me, it was just something where I was super excited to bring my family here too. I think that's an aspect that a lot of people almost forget. You think ball, you think you're bringing your group. And so my wife and my kids and my family that gets to come support me at the game, we felt like this was the right spot. And we prayed about this, and it happens.
What does he bring to this organization?
Well, a lot of people don't know. He was my locker mate at 49ers, and he is my locker mate here as well. So something about him that's just a lot of people don't understand is how nice he is as a person, first and foremost. Like off the field, he is amazing. You won't think that when you watch him play because he is just very aggressive and is violent. And that's something that I love, the way that he can just flip the switch. But somebody that I'm truly blessed to be able to work with every day, for sure. Oh yeah, well, being a sponge, you got to absorb as much knowledge around him. So I think the first time I ever encountered with him coming out of high school, we both were from Oregon, both played safety, both went to USC. A guy that I said, what can I do to be a better safety? Was my very first question. I was 17, so please don't be mad. And he said, we got to work on your character first. And that's just a testament to who he is, who raised him, and the way he learned throughout his journey in the league. So for me, my character, I would like to say, is the most important part first, and that's something that he allowed to teach me as well. I think they overlap in different ways. I think if you're nice off the field, you should be able to turn it on when you get on the field. But they're different, but they correlate in some ways.
We see right now downhill. What is it you love?
Ooh, I know I played it since I was young. I think for me it was just something that I naturally fell in love with. I think just watching the greats that played it. I was a big Troy fan. I know we're talking about him, but that's somebody that I really used to watch a lot, and just kind of fell in love with it, playing it. And it just gives me joy when I step on the field and understand that there's a competitiveness to me that I like to play. And guys are making me better every day when I come out here. You make a play, you get beat on a play, you get to learn, you get to grow, and you have to flush it, do it again the next play. You get injured. And you have to fight those 9 months of trying to get back onto the field, doing stuff like that. And for me, it was just something that.
Creators looking for an edge over the competition? Get 50% off and stand out with just a click.
Gravitate towards. I like to endure stuff that's not easy. So I think. Oh, for sure. I think it's free violence, I guess you could say, and you don't get trouble. So, but I'm very blessed to be able to play this sport.
Yep.
But try not to. His teammate is different. So, but I just want to go out there and celebrate with the guys. So when we can make plays together, and if I can make a guy help a guy get an interception, that's my goal. I want to be out there to help guys get accolades and help as a team get the biggest accolade of all, and that's being a Super Bowl champion. So for us, that's our goal. We got to go out there and strive to be that every day.
You have multiple 49ers on this team that you feel reflects yourself. You didn't win the Super Bowl, but certainly the close. What more can you about this team that you see that stuff that kind of long losing streaks of seasons?
Well, that's interesting because it's an interesting question. I think you have to humble yourself each and every year because it's a clean slate, regardless if I've been there or not. I've been to a Super Bowl, I've been to NFC championships. That has nothing to do with me being here. I got to come in here and I got to earn the respect from my teammates first and foremost. I got to go out there and show them that I'm willing to work, show them things that I've seen in the playoffs that are different than the regular season, seen in the Super Bowl that are different than regular season. But at the end of the day, we got to go through that journey together. And I think that's something that's going to be exciting, that we have each other's backs and we go out there and compete.
When you hit the mark, what separated Denver?
I think it's amazing here. I think it has everything you could think of. It has beautiful scenery, then the team itself, the organization, the owners, and great players. You look at a guy that just stood up here before me, Bo. You look at what he's capable of and what he can go do down the field. Like, it's exciting, And no, there's no disrespect to Brock Purdy and what I'm done. I know people will take it the wrong way. Love my guy Brock. I signed with the new team. That's exactly how it is. But you ask that question, and I'm out here with a team that has a bunch of guys that I'm excited to play with.
For you. Yeah, what's impressed you on the field?
Knowing him now, I'll say real quick because I can talk about my past. Just seeing how he works is one thing. I think that's like first in line, first guy that's gonna run, that's gonna beat a lot of guys in race. Like he's just a guy that wants to work. I think for me, I was injured last year as well. I got to watch a lot of ball. You see a guy that I think started off the year a little shaky, but that's the beauty of it. He bounces back and he shows up each and every week, even when things aren't slotted in his way. And so watching a guy that, like I said, just battled through adversity, something that I admire. Watching him do it each and every day, and we're going out there and try to do it again this year.
Two more guys.
San Fran, you run a lot, but here there's a long line of some, Hall of Fame and great safeties. So are you familiar with that? Obviously, your thoughts down there. You got one
Just met Steve for the first time. Obviously, we know Dawkins as well. But being around John, that was like something that I learned, and that was something that you go through in free agency. When I signed here, that was the first person that called me and congratulated me, John, and said how excited he was because he played here as well. But there's a long line of history here. My goal is to just, make sure I represent them the right way.
Mark, here's a list.
Character.
I think it's everything. It's how you do one thing. It's how you do everything right. They say it's the small things, and guys showing up for OTAs, guys showing up in meetings, and doing their best to be part of this organization in the right way. So we just want to win. So we gotta show it first. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Obviously, for us, our first stretch of OTAs this week. Any questions?
That's how last year and the way that things look like. What sort of different role does it then have?
It's a lot different. I mean, we don't use that term pick up where we left off, but just the processing, understanding of what we're doing in and out of the huddle. These 3 days, as you're watching each decision, where you want the ball to go. I think it's entirely different.
What were some of the things?
The way you said the calendar and your mini camp a week early, and that.
Say it again.
How much of that is with Bo and so much roster attention in your calendar?
Yeah, each time we look at it, this was the first year that I can ever remember where the calendar potentially would have pushed out another week and would have been just 4 weeks for these guys before training camp. I wasn't going to do that. And so we didn't really even have phase two. We've basically for 5 weeks we're lifting and running, and we'll have plenty of time for the football.
Coach, since moving from off to edge and now back off, has the vision for them kind of changed in your eyes?
No, the vision's clear. Inside linebacker, we think he's a pressure player. So obviously there's ways where you can pressure that guy from a stack position or to an outside position. But he's doing well handling it.
How are you just kind of like seeing him adjust?
Well, the defense is. I always enjoy this part of it. Now that they have a season, look, week 4 there was 4 games. Week 8 there was 8 games. So, you see different looks based on who you play from an opponent standpoint. But one of his traits that I think serves him well are his feet. He can move, and it's not always a clean pocket. And I think when it gets a little muddy, he makes good decisions. He doesn't hold on to the ball. His sack numbers were really good in college. They were really good last year, and we anticipate that to be the same. So again, each week within the framework of our game plan, we'll understand what we're trying to do against the defense we play.
What were your initial impressions of Farmington out here?
Good.
Kind of elaborate.
Yeah.
Well,
no, listen, this is, we're not in pads. So when you ask about a safety, it's hard to elaborate when you're not in shoulder pads and helmets, or full gear. Man, he's smart. He's a real good leader. He's played in real good defenses. So he's been a real positive addition and is going to help us a lot.
What are the most important things you want to see from underestimate here in UC?
Yeah, year 2 for him, just running style, his physicality, the things that got him drafted, the things that we saw a little bit harder for him last year for a handful of these guys. I don't want to say the grade was incomplete, but they just didn't have enough. He's a back that requires enough touches. He's going to get those opportunities.
I know you coached Demarius, but Demarius Thomas went up against him a couple of times. What would you see of him from afar, and what did you learn since being here about what
Well, just, so many people have talked about, not only his football skill set, but his makeup, his leadership, all the things he brought to that team. And it's much deserved. And congratulations, obviously, to all of his family members. It's a great way to pay tribute to someone who was fantastic on the grass, but just as fantastic when he was off of it.
What do you have since like the top ranking Myers this offseason?
They've been all good. All good. Anything else? No. This is all voluntary, and so he's had a good off season.
Yeah, you signed a couple of free agents, maybe seemingly for special teams, the Sherfield, Sam Bryant. Just talk about the emphasis on, signing some outside free agents.
Well, we felt like it was important back after the 23 season. One quick way to improve your team. We were near the bottom of the league in 22 in special teams. And so very quickly, the last 2 years, it's been the opposite. And that emphasis, it's easy to say we want to get better in the kicking game, but, you have to commit to that. And I've worked with Darren before, and that'll still be a priority for us.
Coach, how much does Evan Ingram help, especially the young quarterback, but any quarterback, being able to work middle of the field, but also outside?
I think it helps a lot, depending on the coverages you're getting. But your third down, your red zone game plans, I think it really helps.
Lose your voice in Vegas?
No, I just been sick.
Come back on the first year of this surprise. Saying like college, first year front row. What can that kind of attention just do for
I think it's a positive. Just the stability in what we're doing offensively, his overall understanding. It kind of goes to the earlier question of him just out here taking the script, going through it, and feeling, almost like the plays can run off his tongue, where a year ago, you were having to repeat it twice. It's a lot different.
Sean, your rookies are obviously still very early in this, but what are the expectations from rookie mini camp to then coming out here like the incremental?
Yeah, we talk about it with them. They're behind, obviously, in a couple areas. Mentally, they're catching up, and then also physically getting acclimated to the weight program, conditioning level. They're 12, 13 workouts behind. They don't have to get there today. They just have to work their way there. So by the time we get going in training camp, we bridge the gap, if you will.
Like Marvin finished the season last year as strong as he did. What does he need to do to sort of maybe not pick up where he left off, but to then take the next step and be that kind of player?
Yeah, we saw him take a big step middle of the year. I think you're going to see those type of ascensions with players like Troy. There's a number of young players competing for not so much spots, but competing for touches. And, he's one of them. All right. Thank you.